Act as if everything always works out for you. Imagine the power in that mindset. The calm, the confidence, the quiet belief that no matter what happens, it's all unfolding in your favor, not out of blind optimism, but out of a deep understanding that you are built to handle life. That even when things don't go according to plan, they're still going according to purpose. Adopting a positive mindset is more than just thinking happy thoughts or repeating affirmations. It's a conscious decision to approach life with a lens that focuses on possibility rather than limitation. It means choosing to see the potential in every situation, even when circumstances seem challenging or unclear. This mindset doesn't deny reality. Instead, it redefines how you respond to it. When you adopt a positive mindset, you take ownership of your perspective, which is the one thing always within your control, regardless of external circumstances. This way of thinking begins with self-awareness. It starts when you notice the patterns in your thoughts, how you talk to yourself in moments of stress, how you interpret failure, and how you measure progress. A negative mindset sees setbacks as confirmations of inadequacy. A positive mindset sees them as stepping stones, not stop signs. It acknowledges the difficulty, but doesn't give it permission to define the outcome. Instead of saying, "This is happening to me," it says, "This is happening for me." That subtle shift can change the entire direction of your life. Living this way requires intentionality. You have to be willing to interrupt old habits of self-doubt, comparison, and fear-based thinking. It doesn't mean pretending everything is perfect. It means believing that, even if it's not perfect now, it can improve, and that you have the ability to help make it better. This belief breeds resilience. It gives you a reason to keep showing up, to keep trying, and to stay engaged with your goals even when progress feels slow. A positive mindset provides the fuel for perseverance because it focuses on possibility, not limitation. Another core element of a positive mindset is the ability to reframe. Life doesn't always go according to plan, and it's easy to feel defeated when things fall apart. But reframing means choosing to see beyond the immediate disappointment. It's recognizing that a delay isn't a denial, that a closed door might be protecting you from something misaligned. This doesn't come naturally. It's a skill you build over time. You learn to ask better questions, like, "What is this trying to teach me?" Or "How could this be leading me somewhere better?" These questions don't eliminate the hardship, but they give it meaning, and meaning makes it bearable. Surrounding yourself with positivity also plays a significant role. Who you spend time with, what content you consume, and the environments you place yourself in all shape your mindset. Negativity is contagious, but so is optimism. When you place yourself in an environment that uplifts you, encourages you, and reminds you of what's possible, your inner dialogue starts to shift. You begin to speak to yourself with more kindness, take on challenges with more courage, and see opportunities where you once saw obstacles. Most importantly, a positive mindset creates space for gratitude, and gratitude, when practiced consistently, becomes a powerful anchor. It keeps you grounded in the present, reminding you of what you do have instead of what's missing. It turns ordinary moments into meaningful ones and helps you stay focused on progress instead of perfection. With gratitude, even the smallest steps forward become victories. Adopting a positive mindset doesn't mean life gets easier. It means you get stronger. It means you trust yourself more. It means you stop being defined by what's happening around you and start being guided by what's happening within you. That shift, once made, opens the door to a life led by confidence, clarity, and quiet determination. It becomes a choice you make every day, not just when things are good, but especially when they're not, because that's when your mindset matters most. Shifting from fear to trust is one of the most transformative changes a person can make. Fear is a powerful force. It narrows your vision, distorts your thinking, and makes the world feel smaller and more threatening. It causes hesitation, self-doubt, and the constant urge to control every outcome. Trust, on the other hand, expands your view. It opens up possibilities, reduces mental friction, and allows you to move through life with greater peace and clarity. Making this shift doesn't mean you ignore risk or abandon caution. It means you stop letting fear be the primary driver of your decisions. Fear often disguises itself as logic. It convinces you to play small, to wait, to avoid trying unless success is guaranteed. It tells you that the unknown is dangerous and that certainty is the only path to safety. But the truth is, most of life's opportunities lie beyond certainty. Growth happens in spaces where outcomes aren't fully known, and when fear dominates your thinking, it robs you of the chance to evolve, take bold steps, and discover what you're truly capable of. Trust begins where fear starts to lose its grip. It's not naive. It doesn't ignore the potential for setbacks or failure. Instead, it accepts that risk is part of progress. Trust says, even if things don't go perfectly, I'll still be okay. I'll learn, I'll adapt, and I'll grow from it. That belief alone changes everything. It softens the pressure, eases the anxiety, and allows you to act from a place of strength instead of desperation. When you trust yourself, your decisions are rooted in intention, not panic. This shift also changes how you relate to time. Fear makes you rush. It creates urgency where none is needed, pushing you to fix, force, or flee. Trust invites patience. It allows you to slow down, take a breath, and respond instead of react. It helps you understand that not everything needs to be figured out immediately. Some answers come with time. Some paths only reveal themselves once you've taken the first few steps. Trust teaches you to walk, even when the road ahead isn't fully lit, knowing that clarity will come as you move forward. One of the most freeing parts of trust is letting go of the illusion of control. Fear thrives on the idea that if you just do enough, plan enough, or stress enough, you can prevent things from going wrong. But much of life is outside your control. The weather changes, people shift, opportunities rise and fall. Trust is accepting that uncertainty doesn't have to be the enemy. It can be a space for creativity, curiosity, and new beginnings. When you stop needing to control every outcome, you regain your energy and peace. Another important aspect of trust is learning to believe in your own resilience. You may not know what's coming, but you do know how far you've already come. You've survived hard days, overcome setbacks, and made it through things you once thought you couldn't. That's evidence of your strength. Trust grows stronger when you recognize that you can handle more than you think. That even when life surprises you, you have the capacity to adjust and find your way. Shifting from fear to trust doesn't happen all at once. It's a daily practice, a conscious choice. Some days it will be harder than others, especially when life feels uncertain or overwhelming. But each time you choose trust, each time you act in spite of fear, you build a new foundation. You strengthen your faith in yourself, in the process, and in life's ability to work things out in the end. Over time, that trust becomes your new default, and with it, you begin to experience life with more courage, more peace, and far more freedom. Setbacks are an inevitable part of life. No matter how carefully you plan, how hard you work, or how much you prepare, there will be moments when things don't go as expected. A goal might slip through your fingers, a plan might unravel, or life might suddenly shift in a direction you never saw coming. In those moments, it's easy to feel defeated or even question your worth. But setbacks are not the end of the road. They're part of the journey. When you begin to embrace setbacks as lessons, everything changes. The same experiences that once felt like failures begin to serve a greater purpose. Embracing setbacks means letting go of the idea that struggle equals failure. It means refusing to let temporary disappointments define your long-term potential. Every setback carries a message, a mirror, or a moment of truth. It might reveal an area where you need to grow, a skill you need to sharpen, or a belief that no longer serves you. Sometimes it forces you to slow down and reevaluate. Other times, it redirects you to something better than what you originally planned. But none of that is possible unless you're willing to look at the setback without shame. Growth doesn't happen in comfort zones. It happens in the moments that challenge your assumptions and stretch your limits. Setbacks are powerful teachers because they demand your attention. They break the rhythm, shake the routine, and make you confront what's not working. That discomfort, while hard in the moment, is where the transformation begins. It teaches resilience, humility, patience, and creativity. It forces you to adapt, and when you adapt, you evolve. One of the greatest lessons setbacks teach is perspective. In the middle of a setback, it's easy to feel like everything is falling apart. But with time and distance, you often realize it was falling into place. What seemed like a missed opportunity becomes a turning point. What looked like rejection becomes redirection. What felt like loss creates space for something more aligned. The ability to reframe setbacks, to see them as necessary pauses rather than permanent defeats, is a sign of emotional maturity and inner strength. Setbacks also teach you about yourself. How you respond when things go wrong reveals your character more than how you behave when everything is going right. Do you blame others, give up quickly, or retreat into fear? Or do you pause, reflect, and adjust? Do you give yourself the grace to be human, to struggle, and still choose to move forward? These are the moments when self-awareness deepens. These are the experiences that make you stronger, wiser, and more compassionate, not just toward yourself, but toward others as well. Another important lesson in setbacks is the value of persistence. Often, what separates success from failure is not talent or intelligence, but the willingness to keep going, to try again, to come back with a clearer head and a stronger heart. Persistence doesn't mean ignoring the lessons of a setback, it means applying them. It means learning smarter strategies, letting go of outdated habits, and being brave enough to keep pursuing your goals despite the bruises. Embracing setbacks is about trusting that the journey is working for you, even when it feels like it's working against you. It's about turning pain into purpose and disappointment into direction. When you shift your mindset in this way, you begin to face challenges with more grace and confidence. You stop fearing failure and start welcoming growth. And that shift turns every setback into a stepping stone, one that carries you forward, stronger and more prepared than before. Staying grounded in purpose rather than perfection is one of the most powerful ways to maintain momentum, especially when life becomes unpredictable or overwhelming. Perfection is a moving target. It constantly shifts, demands more, and often leads to frustration, burnout, or paralysis. It feeds the fear of not being enough, not doing enough, or not getting everything exactly right. Purpose, on the other hand, is stable. It's rooted in meaning. It provides direction without the unrealistic expectation that everything must be flawless. When you focus on purpose, you give yourself permission to be human while still moving forward with intention. Perfection often disguises itself as ambition. It can look like high standards, a desire for excellence, or a refusal to settle. But underneath it is usually fear of judgment, failure, or not living up to expectations. The pursuit of perfection can keep people stuck, constantly refining, reworking, and second-guessing. It creates a fear of starting and an even greater fear of finishing. Purpose cuts through that noise. It reminds you why you began in the first place. It centers your energy on impact rather than image, and on progress rather than appearances. When you stay grounded in purpose, you begin to see mistakes as part of the process rather than proof of inadequacy. You recognize that failure isn't fatal. It's feedback. Every step, even the missteps, become part of a larger story that's unfolding. You no longer feel the pressure to have all the answers before you begin, or to avoid all missteps along the way. Instead, you trust that your intentions will guide you, and that clarity often comes through action, not before it. Purpose gives you something deeper to return to when things go off track. When plans fall apart or results aren't what you hoped, perfectionism might tempt you to quit, to see the journey as flawed. But purpose reminds you that the value is in the mission, not just the milestone. It helps you keep your eyes on the bigger picture. You stop obsessing over whether everything looks right, and you start asking whether everything feels aligned. This shift brings peace. It lifts the weight of constant self-criticism and allows you to operate from a place of passion and authenticity. Another way purpose triumphs over perfection is in how it affects your relationship with others. Perfection creates comparison. It drives competition, insecurity, and disconnection. It leads to unrealistic standards and constant self-monitoring. But when you're grounded in purpose, you're not trying to impress others. You're trying to contribute. You measure success by whether you stayed true to your values, not whether you outshined someone else. This builds genuine confidence and allows for deeper connection, because you're no longer hiding behind a mask of flawlessness. Purpose is also what sustains you through difficulty. Perfection will abandon you the moment things get hard because it thrives on control and predictability. But purpose can carry you through discomfort, setbacks, and doubt. When you know what you're working toward and why it matters, you can keep going even when the outcome isn't clear. You learn to trust the process because you know the process is meaningful in itself. In a world that often celebrates polished images and flawless outcomes, staying grounded in purpose is a radical act. It means choosing meaning over appearance, heart over hype, and truth over performance. It doesn't mean lowering your standards or abandoning excellence. It means anchoring your efforts in something that lasts. Purpose holds firm when perfection falls apart. It fuels action, encourages resilience, and invites a fuller, more authentic version of success. And when you live from that place, you begin to create with more freedom, show up with more courage, and live with far more peace. Showing up with intention means choosing to be fully present in your actions, your decisions, and your energy. It's the difference between going through the motions and actually investing yourself in what you're doing. In a world that constantly pulls attention in 100 directions, it's easy to live on autopilot, waking up, reacting, checking off tasks, and getting through the day without really connecting to the why behind it all. But intention brings you back. It reminds you that every action, no matter how small, has meaning when you choose to give it meaning. Living with intention begins with clarity. It requires asking yourself what truly matters to you, not what others expect or what looks good from the outside, but what aligns with your values, your purpose, and your long-term vision. When you know what you're aiming for, it becomes easier to filter distractions and focus your time and energy where it counts. You stop chasing everything and start choosing deliberately. Whether it's a conversation, a project, or a simple daily routine, you approach it with a sense of awareness and ownership. This approach changes the quality of your presence. When you show up with intention, you're not just physically there, you're mentally and emotionally engaged. People feel it. You listen more deeply, respond more thoughtfully, and carry a different kind of energy. You become someone who moves with purpose, not pressure. That doesn't mean you have to be perfect or have everything figured out. It just means you're grounded in a reason for being where you are and doing what you're doing. That alone elevates everything you touch. Intentionality also helps you build trust with yourself and with others. When you consistently act in alignment with your values, you develop integrity. You begin to believe in your own ability to follow through, to stay focused, and to live in a way that honors who you want to be. Others start to see that as well. People are drawn to those who are clear, consistent, and authentic. They sense when someone is being real versus when someone is just performing. Intention builds that foundation of trust and connection. It also creates resilience. When challenges come, as they always do, intention keeps you from getting lost in the chaos. You remember your purpose, your priorities, and your reasons. That clarity gives you strength. You're able to pivot, adapt, or take a step back without losing yourself. Instead of reacting impulsively to every difficulty, you respond with thoughtfulness. You don't waste as much time trying to control everything because you trust the direction you're heading. Intention gives you a center to return to, even when the path gets messy. Showing up with intention doesn't require grand gestures or perfect plans. Often, it's about small, daily choices, taking a breath before responding. Starting your morning with a moment of reflection. Choosing to be kind in a tense moment. Saying no to something that doesn't align, even when it's easier to say yes. These little actions, done consistently, compound over time. They shape your identity and your reality. They create a life that feels lived, not just survived. The truth is, intention doesn't eliminate stress, uncertainty, or difficulty, but it changes your relationship to all of it. It gives your life direction instead of drift. It turns ordinary actions into meaningful ones and reminds you that you're not just a passenger in your own life. You're the one holding the wheel. Every day is a chance to show up not just because you have to, but because you choose to. And that choice made again and again is what leads to a life of depth, purpose, and true fulfillment. Your choices shape your reality in ways that are often more powerful than you realize. Every decision, no matter how small, is a step in a particular direction. Each one builds on the last, creating habits, beliefs, and outcomes that either bring you closer to the life you want or further away from it. The reality you live in today is, in many ways, the result of the choices you made yesterday. How you responded to challenges, what you prioritized, what you ignored, and how you spoke to yourself in moments of doubt or fear. This isn't about blame or guilt. It's about power. Recognizing that your life is shaped by your choices puts you back in control. It means that even if things haven't gone the way you hoped, you have the ability to choose differently going forward. You're not stuck. You're not at the mercy of luck, circumstance, or other people's decisions. You have agency, you have influence, and every day offers a new opportunity to make choices that align more closely with who you want to be and what you want to create. What you focus on is a choice. If you consistently focus on what's missing, what's wrong, or what could go badly, you'll see more of that in your life. But if you choose to focus on possibility, progress, and solutions, your experience shifts. The outer world may stay the same, but your inner world begins to transform. And eventually, your outer circumstances often follow. Attention is energy. Where you place it shapes how you feel, how you act, and how your life unfolds. How you speak to yourself is a choice. The voice in your head can be your greatest critic or your most loyal supporter. You choose which one you strengthen. Encouraging self-talk builds confidence and resilience, helping you bounce back from setbacks and keep moving forward. Harsh self-talk, on the other hand, keeps you stuck in cycles of doubt and fear. Every time you choose to give yourself grace, to speak kindly to yourself in difficult moments, you're shaping a more empowered reality. The people you surround yourself with are also a choice. While you can't always control who comes into your life, you can choose who stays, who gets your time, and who has influence over your mindset. Surrounding yourself with supportive, positive, and growth-oriented people uplifts you. It challenges you to rise, to believe in yourself, and to expand your vision. On the other hand, remaining in environments that drain you or keep you small limits what you believe is possible. Your habits, those repeated daily actions, are a collection of choices. They build momentum in either a constructive or destructive direction. Choosing to start your day with intention to move your body to take small steps toward your goals. These choices may seem minor in the moment, but over time they shape everything. The life you want doesn't happen all at once. It's built one decision at a time through consistent, intentional action. Even how you interpret your past is a choice. You can choose to see it as a weight that holds you down or a foundation that has shaped your strength. You can carry regret, or you can carry wisdom. The story you tell yourself about your past influences your present. Rewriting that story with compassion and clarity opens the door to healing and forward movement. In the end, you are not defined by your circumstances. You are defined by your response to them, and your response is made up of choices. Choose courage over comfort. Choose action over avoidance. Choose growth over fear. Each choice is a brick in the foundation of your reality. And as you become more intentional with those choices, the life you build begins to reflect the depth, clarity, and power within you. Life isn't something that just happens to you. It's something you co-create, moment by moment, through your mindset, your actions, and your choices. When you act as if everything always works out for you, you shift your entire experience. You replace fear with trust, see setbacks as necessary lessons, and ground yourself in purpose rather than the illusion of perfection. You begin to show up with presence and intention, knowing that each step you take, no matter how small, is shaping the path ahead. And when you live this way, not only do you start to believe in a better future, you actively build it. Not with force, but with faith. Not with pressure, but with clarity. And that's how everything begins to work out. Not by chance, but by choice.